Okay, in this program we're going to create an enhanced letter. So instead of using void methods without parameters, it's going to accept parameters so you can make more personalized letters. So I've created a new project, and then in the source folder I'm going to create a class called enhanced letter, just so I can tell the difference. Okay, I'm going to have a no parameter constructor because there's nothing to add to the constructor method. So I'm going to ignore what it tells me, and I'm just going to create a non-parameter constructor. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create the start of my message. So I want to be able to personalize it. So I'm going to ask for a parameter that's a string, and this is going to be the person's name. So I'm going to say system.out.println. I'm going to say hello, and then use the variable that's passed in the parameter to say name. So I put the name of the variable rather than hard coding it, and then I don't know, a how are you message, or I hope you're well. That's what I put. So that means that whatever's passed in the actual parameters will be printed out in the message. Now I'm going to create my first message, and I'm going to accept a string, which is an event. Okay, so I want to invite the person to event. Again, this is variable. So I'm going to say system.out.println. I have this event coming on, and then event, and then say, would you like to join me? So again, I'm using the variable name rather than hard coding it. So if I put in Tenpin Bowling, it says Tenpin Bowling. If I put the cinema, it comes up with the cinema. Okay, if it says going to the library, because I'm that cool. Okay, next one is public void message, and this is an overloaded method. So sometimes if you have events, then the costs are associated. So I'm going to invite someone to an event, but I'm going to say, hey, it might cost a bit of money, do you still want to come? So I'm going to say system.out.println. Okay, it's like I had before. I'm going to have a string literal, then I'm going to use the variable to say what the event is, then I'm going to have another string literal to say, would you like to join me? Then I'm going to use system.out.println with a string literal, and I'm going to say the cost of the event is, and then I'm going to use the variable cost to say how much it's going to cost me. This is overloaded because they've both got the same name, but they have a different number of variables. So depending on how many actual parameters I put in, depends on which one's chosen. Then finally, I'm just going to have an end message, which is just a void message. So system.out.println, hope to see you soon, from Lindsay. I don't love my friends as much in the enhanced loop. Okay, that's perfect. So now I've got an enhanced letter, so I can invite someone to an event, or I can invite someone to an event that has a cost, and I can call them by name, because it's always nice to see a personalized letter. Now I create my main class, and I'm going to say public static void main. Right, remember we need a driver for all programs, and I'm going to create the first version of an enhanced letter, and I'm going to call it my letter 1. And as there's no parameters, I can just use open and close brackets. Okay, I'm going to say my letter 1.start, and I'm going to pass in the person's name. Okay, I could ask for this using the scanner, but I'm just being cheeky and lazy, and I'm just putting Amber in as a string literal. Then message, and this one I'm just going to pass in the message and ask if they want to go bowling. And then my letter 1 end, so I'm just going to say bye. Then I'm going to create a second version of an enhanced letter, my letter 2. Again, there's no overloaded constructor, we just have none, so I'll just say leave the brackets empty. And if I could spell, it'd be useful, but today was a bad spelling day. Okay, my letter 1 start, I'm going to put in a different name. I'm going to put Wesley this time. Okay, and then my letter 2 dot message. I'm going to ask Wesley if he wants to come to the cinema, but I'm not going to pay for his ticket. So I'm going to put in the cost. And then I'm going to end my letter to Wesley. And if I run it, you can see there's 2 different versions of the enhanced letter class. Right. So I've passed in parameters and I've got 2 different letters.